A historic appointment in the wake of a historic resignation.
I cannot think of a better person to meet the moment.
That person, Mary Simon.
I am honored, humbled, and ready to be Canada's first Indigenous Governor-General.
She's a former Canadian diplomat and longtime Inuk leader who helped negotiate the first modern treaty and fought tirelessly for Indigenous rights.
We're talking about a fundamental right.
This is her going head-to-head over sexual equality with Justin Trudeau's father decades ago when he was Prime Minister.
In a sense, you're equal when you think you're equal.
I'd like to see the equality clause once and for all settled.
Simon is now taking on an apolitical role with a different kind of bilingualism, Inuktitut and English.
I was denied the chance to learn French during my time in the federal government day schools.
Her appointment in the midst of a reckoning over residential schools, protesters toppling over statues of the Queen, a symbol of the fractured relationship between Indigenous peoples and the Crown.
She understands that this is a very difficult time in this country and that she has a healing role to play, and she's ready to do it.
This step forward only happening because of the Prime Minister's past failure appointing Julie Payette, who resigned in disgrace, leaving behind a shattered workplace culture that Simon now inherits.
She's stepping into, a situation that very much parallels the Crown-Indigenous relationship in Canada in general. A relationship that has been abusive and has been neglected and toxic.
With the Queen's approval, Simon's formal installation into Rideau Hall is expected in the coming weeks. An appointment the government hopes is less about controversy and more about healing wounds of the past. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
Now let's bring in Chief Political Correspondent Rosemary Barton, because Rosie, I'm curious to know what you think this appointment means for Canada at this moment.
You know, Andrew, it is significant, obviously, for this country and for reconciliation. Mary Simon's not just an Inuk woman, but she's also a woman who has fought through her lifetime for the rights of the Inuit, sometimes in powerful rooms where she was the only Inuk person, the only Inuk woman, like during the negotiation of the repatriation of the Constitution. The idea of an Indigenous Governor-General has been talked about in this country for a long time. There was even talk the Prime Minister would do it all the way back in 2015. Simon herself said today it took courage to name her. And this is in some ways, Andrew, for Trudeau, kind of a redemptive political move after the failure of his previous appointment, the criticism of his own judgment in making that decision. It's also another example the Prime Minister can point to as a commitment to reconciliation. And although we've been waiting for a new Governor-General for more than 5 months, the timing and the context here is important. After all, this has been a number of difficult weeks of reckoning for this country and for governments writ large. Right, but just on that point of the timing, I mean, what does this say about the chance of an election? Yeah, Ottawa's favorite game. Listen, it could be called even now if the Prime Minister wanted to do it. There's an interim Governor-General in the form of the Supreme Court Justice, but there's also an acknowledgement that having a permanent person in place will make it easier to dissolve Parliament, a little less awkward. The installation is still weeks away, as would be a potential election call if it were to happen. What this does do is put that final piece in place, and it becomes part of a record this government would want to campaign onto, Andrew. Rosie, thank you very much. Thanks, Andrew.